Hi, this is Lerato, and I'm on the KJ Real Talk podcast as we're about to have some healing conversations. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to another special episode of the KJ Real Talk podcast. And today I'm joined by Usuzom Tala, Miss Lerato. By the way, how are you doing, girl?
I'm good, thanks, and you, Jay.
I'm good. Let's talk about healing. Before we dive into the conversation, I just want to say I appreciate you for coming on the safe space. And as we did last year, we shot the episode last year. Around this time, it was cold. Yeah, a bit earlier, but it was around winter time. And in the funny part of that time, I actually had flu. And this time, I have flu.
Don't give me your flu, please.
Anyways, girl, how are you doing though?
I'm very good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good. Besides life, we can't complain. By the grace, we can't complain. Yeah. Before we start the episode, we just want to talk about Jeremiah 17:14. Heal me, Lord, I will be healed. Save me, and I will be saved. For you are my praise. What do you feel about that verse, Jeremiah 17:14?
Oh, I feel like it's the perfect verse for someone who's actually actively seeking healing. Because then, like Jeremiah is saying, heal me, Lord, and I will be healed, right? Yeah. So he's asking for healing, and that's what sometimes we have to do as people. Come to God and be vulnerable with Him, saying, this is where I'm at. This is what's going on, and I need your healing, and no one else, nothing else can do it but you. So heal me, Lord.
Have that conversation with the Almighty. Okay, like how have you been though? Like, from the last conversation, your life in general. Like, how you feeling? Like, what point do you feel like you are in right now? Like, oh my word! Like a lot is happening,
A lot is happening. Life is always lifing, and it's lifing for everyone. You heal in this department, as we were speaking earlier. You heal on one department, and then something else just pops up. And I think that's also just the definition of adulting.
Story for another day.
But where I'm at right now, I'm actually in a good place. Can't complain much. I mean, obviously there are things I could complain about, but I won't, because complaining also doesn't help. So, but just to keep it short, I'm in a good space. I'm happy. Yeah.
What does it feel to have a healing heart?
It's being free. Yes. Having a healing heart is freedom. Right? Because if and I'm gonna say in Zulu, if inhliziyo ingabalisi, then all is well. When it's quiet and it's not counting all the troubles and then it means that it's also free from my mind. So if my heart is good, then my mind is good.
You have that peace within, Yeah.
Very peaceful.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I feel like we cannot really talk about healing we cannot talk about healing only without forgiveness. Because it's so hard to forgive. How do you have peace but you don't forgive, bro? Like like how are you finding it easy? Do you find it easy to easily forgive? As we're not talking about worldly here, we're talking about as a Christian. Do you easily find it easy to forgive? Or let it slide. Let it slide.
Forgiving as a Christian is not something that's easy. Also, just as a person, okay, it is not easy, but I think the privilege then we have is going to God and asking, right? It's even in the daily prayer. Forgive us our sins as we forgive those who forgive against us. Right? So to have to actually say that every day will put you in a position where you have to actively work towards forgiving.
Also.
Yes.
Because you cannot be reading and not doing it,
Exactly.
Meaningless chat.
You gotta practice what you preach. You can't just be do do as I say and not as I do. No, it doesn't work like that. Yeah. So healing, forgiving is not always easy. And letting things slide, I think I let things slide, but only the small things. There's certain things where you're like, this does not even deserve my attention. It's not worth mentioning. It's like, it's whatever. No, let's move. Let's keep it about. But with being intentional with healing, with forgiving, you have to be intentional about it. You have to sometimes even fight yourself to forgive the person, because then, or even the situation. And you can. What's nice about us Christians is that we can ask the Father, ask God to help us through it, and He hears and He helps. Yes, and getting to a place where you're vulnerable with God, to even ask for Him to help you to forgive. It's healing within itself. Because when you're saying, God, help me to let go of this burden. Because sometimes when you have to forgive, it's because there's a burden there. There's an ache there. Yes, there's an ache, there's an hurt, there's an ouchie there. So you're asking God, help me to forgive this person or the situation, so it can also be easier on myself.
And the visiting, like the last conversation that we had last year, right? You learning to, after about 10 years, you still going through that healing process from grief. What do you think about, how do you advise people to heal from that? It's not really like a friendship breakup. This is a lifetime breakup. From someone that you loved, someone you spent most of your time, most of your life with. How do you advise someone to actually learn to heal? To move.
I wouldn't know how to advise someone. To be honest, I wouldn't. I have not even that. I haven't gotten to that point. So I've experienced a whole lot of grief in my life, especially coming from losing people. To a point where I know that each grief is different. Like grief from losing my brother was very different from when I lost my dad, or when I lost my uncle or my grandma. And these are like people that lived with. So for each, because it goes also with relationship, so I wouldn't know what to say to the next person. Yes, take it to God. That's what I have to say. Be vulnerable about where you are at, how people can support you, and just take it to God, because when you give it up to Him.
As a Christian, do you think it's easy to forgive? Do people really make it easier, to forgive, or you just let it slide because of the fact that you're a Christian?
I do not let anything slide. I do not. I'm joking, but like the small things that are not even worth paying attention to. Of course, I let slide, because who's got time to pick on everything? I don't, right? But forgiveness is not easy just because you're a Christian. No, because I'm still a person. And in as much as it's not easy, it's possible, right? And forgiveness allows you to let go of things, let go of situations, and just be unburdened, And that's what God does for us. He unburdens us. So if you're struggling with asking for forgiveness or forgiving people, take it to God. I feel like that's my solution for everything.
Stress lever. You don't have to overthink about it.
Don't even go to God and be like, God, because remember, also in our daily prayer, forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. So when you look at it that way, you know that, God, I'm asking you to forgive me. So I also need to forgive others. But also, I'm struggling to forgive those people, so help me forgive them.
Those guidelines.
Yeah.
You know that verse, you must pin it. You know, on Instagram, pin post. Must pin it to your heart. Pin it to your heart. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like, forgiveness allows you to have freedom in your heart and peace, because we spoke about peace, yes. To have that peace to say, you know what, I've let that go. And forgiveness is not a once-off thing, guys. Like, you will forgive over and over and over again. Yes.
How do you even have healthy boundaries by that? Because, you have to speak about, people crossing your boundaries, and then next thing you're angry. Next thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you create healthy boundaries, though?
I think that is so crazy that you asked me that question. Because right this morning I was thinking about boundaries, and I thought about my mom. My mom is the person who introduced me to boundaries. My mom, you will not cross her boundaries. You know. Anyone who deals with my mom knows Gucci. La agapapelo. So looking at that and just the relationship that we have, my mom is the one who taught me boundaries. It took me a while to enforce them, because then I think as a person or a young person, and you're growing up and you're navigating relationships with family, with people outside, friends, also even romantically, you never think that people will take advantage of you or the situation. So it took me a while to put boundaries in place, but it's a thing that needs to be done. So you can start with something simple. Like, my boundary is, don't call me after 10.
I'm sorry, I'm going to call you after 12.
Once 10 p.m. hits, you cannot call me. And to enforce the boundary, my phone is on do not disturb. So I won't even hear your call.
But what happens though if you it's an emergency though?
Can I help you in that emergency?
Yes, you can.
I don't have those No. So a boundary as small as that, don't call me after that time. Or before you even give out my number, you need to check with me first. Exactly. Because then now I have to block that person and block you.
Yeah, for not explaining to me. We'll see, why are you giving people my number? Yeah, true.
Then maybe there's a reason why that person doesn't have my number. And now they have it because you gave them to you. So you crossed the boundary. Why? Why did you do that? But and also having boundaries puts you in a place where you can show up as authentically as you can as yourself, right? Because then you don't have to play a role. You don't have to, you didn't want to, but now,
you're put in a position, uncomfortable position.
And we all know how it is being uncomfortable. So if I was uncomfortable, I wouldn't be here. But since you're not crossing any boundaries, so just be honest first with yourself about what is it that you want and what is that boundary going to help you accomplish, and then extend it to another person. If they respect you and your relationship that they have with you, then a person will abide by that boundary. But if they don't, then they're also doing you a favor, because then why would you want to keep someone around who doesn't respect your boundaries and respect you as a person? Because boundaries give you a peace of mind.
True. See some thought. Thank you so much for that. Let's speak about social media. Last year we had the conversation. I mean, you know what I mean? We had a conversation last year about social media. I think we need to continue having that conversation, How do you feel like as a Christian you should be presenting yourself on social media? Not just a social media person, but as a Christian, how are you supposed to do that?
James, when I this as a Christian question, people have different relationships with Christ. And as much as we're Christians, we are on different journeys.
We are not aligned the same.
Yes.
Thank you.
Our relationships don't look the same with Christ. So once we do that as a Christian, I feel like sometimes you're trying to box people, and then that's actually the thing that makes people run away, especially young people. right? I think we should be gracious enough to give people a chance to try a relationship with God and find a way that works for them. And any relationship is a trial and error, right? And I've found that growing in Christ and growing my relationship with God and being vulnerable with Him, He's the one who changes me. So sometimes you'll tell me, you'll be like, don't do that, don't, or an adult or a parent will tell you, don't do that, don't da. And to you, because you haven't reached the point or a phase where you don't understand why that is being said to you, you'll do it.
You react with anger or react with so many emotions.
Exactly. Yes, so certain things, you'll only come around to them once you grow. And once you grow in Christ and with Christ. So, personal journey.
So you need to have a deeper relationship with Christ for you to sort of like grow in it, for you to define yourself as, okay, I'm presenting myself on social media as a child of God, not as a
and not even deep relationship with God. You need to have a relationship with God. Because then sometimes who defines this deep? Is it other people or you? So have a relationship with Christ and speak to Him and let Him speak to you, and have a community that supports that relationship. Like church, e.g. for me, church is that, and that's why I love being here, because I get to be around people who are like-minded as me. When I see people here, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm at the right place. Like I never feel out of place. Any church to be actually, if you're talking about Christ, then you're my friend. I'm in the right place. literally. So let Christ rule in your heart and in your life, and leave it in His hands, and you see His hands in everything.
Girl, thank you so much for coming on the safe space. I always appreciate having a conversation with you, and I really can't, wait to have you again.
Not you already planning another episode, so I'm still here. But no, it's always a pleasure to be here. It's always fun talking to you. We're always talking.
Yeah, we're always talking. I think maybe I talk too much. And I'm like, girl, can we talk? You know what I mean?
And you'll never miss an opportunity to put me in front of the camera. One thing about you. But it's a pleasure, James.
Okay, thank you. If you want to be part of the conversation and create healthy and healthy conversation, make sure you like and subscribe to the KJ Real Talk. Don't hesitate to hit me up on the KJ at Gmail or the KJ Real Talk at gmail.com. Don't hesitate to come in here through conversation. See you on the next episode.